Relive an epic moment in music history when two prominent rappers battled for album sales supremacy, placing hip-hop at the forefront of pop culture's zeitgeist in a lasting way. All of this unfolded in September 2007, as 50 Cent and Kanye West willingly engaged in a friendly competition that garnered significant headlines. Both artists were at crucial points in their careers, releasing their pivotal third albums. 50 Cent was set to drop Curtis on September 11, 2007, while West was preparing Graduation for a September 18th release. Though he moved it up a week to set the stage for what might have been the most significant nonviolent event in hip-hop history as they competed to see who could sell more albums. We all know the results. West's Graduation emerged victorious with an impressive 957,000 units sold, while 50 Cent reached 691,000 units. The effects of this epic showdown, however, continue to resonate today, marking a sharp turn in hip-hop music that has endured. Before September 11, 2007, anything related to hip-hop seldom echoed on a grand scale, aside from the tragic losses of Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G. in 1996 and 1997, respectively. Rivalries or new projects within hip-hop were kept relatively low-key. While significant within the community, the rest of the world lacked enthusiasm, despite hip-hop's growing popularity in mainstream culture. The year 2007 arguably served as a turning point for the crisis facing hip-hop 2 years prior. In 2005, 50 Cent released his monumental second album, The Massacre, achieving a significant feat as the second best-selling album of the year, trailing only Mariah Carey's The Emancipation of Mimi. In its first week, The Massacre sold 1.14 million units, ultimately surpassing 5 million copies in the United States. Meanwhile, Kanye West continued to reap the rewards of his 2004 debut album, The College Dropout. The following year, his second work, Late Registration, achieved an impressive 860,000 sales in the first week, eventually reaching over 3 million copies sold. These numbers indicated that, while 50 Cent's street rap style, which had essentially sustained him in the early 2000s, was still thriving, something different was emerging out of necessity. You couldn't overshadow 50 Cent's tough guy image. Nothing street was coming next that would top him, explains Vanessa Satin, editor-in-chief of XXL magazine. That was as street as we could get. The shift became more noticeable in 2006. Lupe Fiasco released his debut album, Food and Liquor, to enthusiastic reviews. Jay-Z emerged from his retirement to drop Kingdom Come, while the industry collectively questioned whether that would be the ideal comeback for the rapper-turned-Def Jam president. By the end of 2006, Nas would declare, "Hip-hop is dead," on his 8th studio album. Entering 2007, the crumbling structure of the old guard was so evident that it couldn't be denied. DJ Drama was arrested in January for selling mixtapes, a significant indicator that every aspect of rap was undergoing change. Dr. Dre didn't release Detox, which he had been working on since 2001. Raekwon didn't release Only Built for Cuban Links, PT2 as planned, although it came out 2 years later, and Eminem postponed Relapse. Any combination of these suggested that the current character of hip-hop was still partly intact. In the spring, 50 Cent made $100 million as a minority shareholder in Vitamin Water's $4.1 billion sale to Coca-Cola. When the dispute with West happened, it wasn't money motivating him, it was principle. But he arrived late. My theory is that we were entering a period where the internet was beginning to dominate, says Satin. Kanye's success and the departure from the streets came with the internet, giving the fashion-obsessed nerd, who wasn't the cool person back then, the opportunity to have a voice. I feel like fashion was driving this, adds Chris X, writer and co-author of 50 Cent's 2005 autobiography, From Pieces to Weight. The rise of super high fashion was already happening, and Kanye connected to that. He's kind of the herald of it. The release of Ye's Stronger with Daft Punk in July 2007 only emphasized this statement. The single departed from traditional hip-hop, accentuated by visuals that further reflected West's fascination with Japanese art, especially that of Takashi Murakami, the Japanese artist behind the Graduation album cover, as well as high fashion. It was synesthesia at its best. I remember being in Joe Levy's office when the publicist came by and played Stronger for us, recalls former Rolling Stone associate editor Evan Serpic. We just looked at each other like, this is phenomenal. Serpic wrote the article that revealed the Curtis/Graduation competition, interviewing both artists a week before Rolling Stone released its double cover story putting Ye and Fifth face to face. He describes the genesis of the phenomenon as fascinating. The competition reminded me when boxers have kind of that fake press conference and talk trash for the cameras, says Serpic. To varying degrees, I think they both saw it as a marketing opportunity, to be honest. I think Kanye especially likes to see himself as the center of the universe. For him, this was just a classic heavyweight battle, and he loved setting it up that way. 50 was happy to participate. Both Kanye West and 50 Cent found themselves at crossroads, with their beginnings almost parallel in a bizarre sense. Each artist was known for their immense personality, stemming from near-fatal traumas that would eventually self-proclaim them as Teflon. 50 Cent was shot 9 times in 2000, and West survived a serious car accident in 2002. Both were archetypes of frankness in their own minds, becoming caricatures. Yet, in the game of money, only one would emerge as the winner, and it all boiled down to security. While West didn't hold back in his opinions, exemplified by his bold statement, "George Bush doesn't care about black people," during a nationally televised telethon for Hurricane Katrina fundraising in 2005. 50 Cent had a growl with a corresponding bite. His feud with former G-Unit member, The Game, became infamous, as did the violence stemming from his rivalry with Ja Rule. Although both 50 Cent and West were prone to outbursts of anger, only one represented a true threat. The record labels were aware of this. Adds Chris X, "You always knew 50 was smart and had tricks up his sleeve, but it was starting to become a battle between Def Jam and Interscope." 50 wasn't in the best place with Interscope at that time. It wasn't something he was going to win from the jump because he was going against one machine after another. Chris X also points to Def Jam's history of considering first-week sales as a victory when needed. Jay-Z's historical issues with 50 Cent were another factor, along with Hova ending his tenure as Def Jam president, making a West victory a triumphant farewell. Jay was the force behind Kanye, says Sadin. Sonically, Kanye was attuned to changes in hip-hop, while 50 Cent was only partially invested. Apart from Stronger, the first single pre-Graduation, Can't Tell Me Nothing, showcased you deviating from his soul samples with chipmunk effects and looking towards the future. Meanwhile, pre-Curtis offerings like I Get Money and AO Technology with Justin Timberlake didn't exactly scream evolution. 50 was kind of standing firm in his convictions, Chris X adds. The stakes of the showdown between 50 Cent and Kanye West were substantially raised when the former claimed he would quit rapping if defeated. The competition became relaxed to the point of almost being caricatured, as evidenced by the mentioned Rolling Stone cover. They flanked each other on BET's 106 and Park stage, providing the audience with what they wanted. Harmless rap personas vying for audience participation. By September 11, 2007, it became clear who the true winner was. It was both. We've reached the end. Subscribe to the channel and like the video. Until next time.